Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this demo videos, I'm going to uh, demonstrate deploying in Django application using auto scaling group. So before we actually create an auto scaling group, we need to have some prerequisite ready. We need PPC and availability zone. Since I'm going to use application load balancer, uh, I have I will be creating two availability zone. This is one availability zone, Asia Pacific Southeast 2A with this subnet, and another availability zone with Asia Pacific Southeast 2B with this subnet. And then we will have our BPC in this CID range, and I am planning to use application load balancer, but this is not necessary. If you don't want to, you can build auto deploy application with auto scaling group with our application load balancer. That's up to you, but I'm going to use application load balancer. So I will create one, and this is my target group. So basically my target group will span across two availability zone, and I need internet gateway for access to the internet, and we will also need to create a security group. So what we do now is we create things one at a time, so that you can have you can conceptualize what's happening. So first thing first, let's create BPC, this BPC, so which is very easy. We just need to go to BPC, and select the region. I just selected Sydney region, and in the Sydney region we can create BPC here. I'll call it my BPC. In the CID block 10.0.0.0/16, create BPC. So we have our BPC ready here. Now what is the next thing we need to build? Let's go back to our image. So next thing we need to create is a subnet. As you can see, this is our subnet. This is our subnet. So we need to create minimum two subnets with availability in availability zone Asia Pacific Southeast 2A and 2B. This is my availability zone. It could be different for you, and that's the subnet CID. So let's go and build this. Subnets and create subnet. We need to select subnet from here, and I will call the first one subnet 1, availability zone 2A, and area block 10.0.1.0/24, and second subnet is subnet 2. You can name anything you like, and this will be 2B, and the subnet block 10.0.2.0/24, and create subnet. Good. So if you go back here, so we have our BPC ready, and we have our subnets ready. Two subnets in our BPC. That's nice. So what we need to create next thing? So we need to build we need the internet gateway for access to the internet for our subnets. So let's go ahead and create internet gateway. Go here and create internet gateway. I will call it my internet gateway, and then we can attach to our BPC, my BPC, and beautiful. So we have attached it to our BPC. So let's go back to our diagram. We just created internet gateway attached to the BPC. Now we need to update our routing table, so that our route table knows how to get to the internet through internet gateway. So route table, and go to the route, and edit route. Just select this one, which is to go to internet, and select internet gateway, and select our internet gateway from here, and save change. That's nice. So, but one more thing, go to route table, and if you look at subnets associated to this route table, it says there are no subnet association at the moment, so we need to edit this one and associate our subnets. Beautiful. So we're ready with our VPC and subnetting. So let me go back to our diagram. So now we have our VPC with subnet and routing all ready. So now we can go ahead and create target group. So this is the target group that, as you can see, that spans across availability zone, both availability zone, and that's what we are going to set up. So that's from the EC2. We need to go to EC2 for that, and create a target group. So I will call it Django application. So we will be selecting target type instance for auto scaling group, and target group will be Django app target group, because this target group has instances running Django application, and the protocol we are using is HTTP protocol, and the port is, I need to change that port to 8000s. This is important because I need to show you why I have port 8000s, because my Django application is listening on a port 8000s. Okay, let me show you that quickly. Not from there. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm exposing my secrets. Okay. So here we can go to my Django CRM application, and okay. So this is my project directory, and this is my Django app. So let me turn on the virtual environment, and I can run my Django app now. Simply g unicorn -- bind 0.0.0.0/8000s, and DCRM is the Django project directory name, wsgi:\application. So when I this run, this Django app is running here, and as you can see, application will be listening on port 8000s. So let me try to access from my browser here. So if I HTTP, I can see this is the app. So you can register new user from here, and this is the login screen. Beautiful. So we need to listen on a port 8000s. So that's why port will be 8000s, and IP address type is IPv4, and let's select a VPC which we just created, and protocol version I will stay with, because my protocol version is HTTP1. If you want to see this, I will show you how to know that. If I go, okay, sorry, I need to go back to, let me open my app again, my application again, and go to project folder, and what I can do is here is just turn on again, activate this and run the g unicorn. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. Okay, now I will try to access this, Ctrl+Alt from a different terminal here. So what will I do is call -i http localhost for 8000 at the root URL. I can see few informations here that is helpful. Okay, as you can see here, http/1.1. as you can see, that's why just the protocol version our application is using. So I will just cancel out from here and cancel that one and exit. So I will, since this is the protocol version our application is using, so supported when the request protocol is http/1.1. so that's what I'm selecting. And health checks, so this is important. So what health check to select? Health check at health check path. So again, I will show you this. What does that mean? So the most important thing is success code. So what success code that your application returns when health check request is made at the root URL. So before I go through all these variables here, I want to talk about how actually application load balancer performs health check. Again, let me open my Django app and go to okay, again run this application, source VNB bin activate, turn this on, and okay, now application is running. Now how can you perform health check? Okay, I will try to imitate how application load balancer for performing health check. So I will be using Python here, for example, and import requests. And okay, let's application load balancer performs sends a get request at the specified root URL. So let's do the same thing. Let's send the get request at the specified root URL. So it will be IP address of, here I am saying localhost, but in your case it will be public IP address. Sorry, the private IP address of EC2 instance. Okay, and that kind of mechanism is facilitated by metadata. So the application load balancer can have access to those informations, like from the instance ID they can map to the public IP address. So and we need to specify which port the application is listening on. Our health, if we can have a separate health check port or similar traffic port. So since in my application I'm going to make it same, so 8000 is a traffic port and that will be my health check port as well, and at the root URL. Or you could configure like health check status, something like that, but mine is at the root URL. So when I run this, sorry, there's something wrong. Oh, Python string. Okay, and I can okay, let's assign a variable response equal to this and hit enter. Now let's check the response. What response do I get from my application? So status code, I guess, and I guess 200, right? So if my application is returning status code 200, that means the application, the resources is available, that the server can provide the resources, requested resources, and that then application balancer can mark our application, our EC2 instances or our application is healthy. Okay, so this is it. So I will just exit from here. So this is, so 200 is the status code where we are expecting, and root URL is our health check path, and traffic port is 8000, and healthy threshold count. So how many times do I need do my instance application need to pass the test to consider it healthy? So I can say if it gives me status code 200 for like 3 times, I can mark it as healthy. That's it. And for unhealthy, so I made a request. For example, I can again open that one. Okay, what I do is, for example, let's imitate the application is not working. So what will I do is just Python 3 and import request, and let's say response equal to request get, we're making a request, and localhost and on a port 8000. But what we are doing is to imitate that the server is not responding. Well, we can simply turn this off at the moment and make a request. So if I hit enter, okay, as you can see, there are a lot of error, and okay, and if I just type response.status, well, it will not even get that status code, right? So what I do is I will just get out of this, and instead of using that, I will use this call to get the header information, localhost 8000. You see, failed to connect to localhost, so you don't get that status code. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. So get out of this and out of this. So if you don't get the status code 200 for like for 2 consecutive requests, then you will be marked as unhealthy. So timeout is a 5 second. Basically, when application load balancer make a request, this is the time amount, this is the amount of time the application load balancer waits for the response. If it doesn't get any response, then that EC2 instance is marked as failed or something. And interval is 30 seconds I have set. So in every 30 second application load balancer will perform health check on each EC2 instance. So for example, there are 3 EC2 instance A, B, C. So let's say it performs first health check on EC2 instance in a 0 second at EC2 instance A. Then in the next in the 30th second it performs health check on the EC2 instance B, and in the 60th second it performs health check on the EC2 instance C. That's all it is. And we can go ahead next, and right now we don't select, we don't register any targets because we want our auto scaling group to do that for us, right? So just create target group. So our target group is ready, but it doesn't have any EC2 instance registers. So we just leave it there for our auto scaling group to put EC2 instances in the target group. So let's go ahead and create the application load balancer. So load balancer. Before I create load balancer, I will show you this one diagram. So in the diagram, you can see this is our application load balancer that receives traffic from internet, but it has also security group before it. So this security group makes sure that only the required traffic, HTTP traffic, is sent to our application load balancer. So we need to create security group as well as application load balancer. We already have now target group. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So let's create load balancer, and this will be application load balancer create, and let's give it a name. This will be application load balancer before Django app. And this is internet facing. This is internet facing because it is sending the traffic to in the subnets which are public subnets. and IP address IPv4. Select VPC from here, and now this is where we need to select to availability zone, which is automatically selected, and I need to create a security group for this. Right now I don't have any security group, so let's go ahead and create a security group for this. Let's call it application load balancer security group. Application load balancer security group. So basically this security groups allows HTTP traffic from anywhere but nothing else. So allows HTTP traffic from everywhere, and select a BBC here. Now we need to set the inbound rules. So what we want, we only want HTTP traffic from anywhere, IPv4, that's it, and create security group. So once we are done here, let's check one more time, that looks right. Then we can simply go and just refresh this one and select our security group. Make sure you don't select default, and done. So time to configure our listeners. So our application load balancer will be listening for the protocol HTTP, yeah, and the port will be 80, because every browser, when they make any HTTP request, they by default try to access on a port until 80. So we should be listening on a port 80. For example, when I say here, for example, let me show you this one, Control LT, and again go back to my, okay, this is my project. Again, I'm going to run this source being activate, and I'm going to run my Django app here, and I will try to access. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, my Django app is running on the local host. I will try to access this as a user. So localhost, right now it's like listening on a port 8000, right? Because our application is listening on a port 8000, but ideally in the real web applications, you don't listen on a port 8000, because we don't tell our users to type port 8000. We want to give them a default port. That default port would be 80. Okay, so there is this port 80, but they don't need to explicitly type it. Simply they can say http / domain name or website name, whatever, and that will automatically append port 80 in it. That's why we need to listen on a port 80. Okay, so again I will close this one. So a listener is listening on a port 80, and select a target group. This is our target group, and we can go ahead and create our load balancer. Oh, it's not happy with the name, so I will just attach them. Okay, didn't like this name. Okay, I'll give something name, ALB security group. Okay, and create load balancer. View it. So now our load balancer is just in the state of provisioning, but it doesn't have well, we can't do anything right now. This is DNS name. It maps to the IP address, the public IP address of our public IP address of our load balancer. So using this, we can access all the applications running inside our target group. So for example, here is, so let me tell what happened so far. So our application load balancer listens on a port 80, and every traffic coming to it, it will forward to these two target groups. but the target group is itself mentioning on a port 8000. Okay, alrighty, that's it. So now what we do is we need to, in the next video, I will be creating launch template and using that launch template to deploy Django applications using auto scaling group. Okay, so see you in the next video.